then it is what it is. The die is cast. You might as well get big donor money to make sure Trump loses. If the candidate is a progressive like Bernie Sanders, who doesn't need the big donor money and doesn't want it, she could still help in uniting the party, and that would be wonderful. And that's what he did for her. I know her staffers are still bitter over it, but he did 39 different campaign stops for her and rallies for her, and he went all in to the point where his own supporters, some of his supporters were really mad at him for supporting Hillary Clinton so much, but he didn't. She could repay that favor if she was so inclined. So I think it's the right decision by her. And look, guys, her staffers keep picking at Bernie Sanders, and that's our next story. And they keep restarting that fight. And I'm not going to back out of that fight. I'm going to engage in that fight and double down on it. So I give no quarter, right? But if Hillary Clinton is not engaged in that fight, she lost the election, then let her be, right? And so look, I remember election night. The very last video I did, I think, was when I got home and after a very, very long day. And it was about how Hillary Clinton must have felt. And I said, my heart goes out to her. She was gonna be the first female president. Yeah. And she won, as it turned out, by about 3 million votes in the popular. If we had any decent democracy, she would have been the president. Now, she didn't win, but as she went into the day thinking she was gonna win, and then for her to lose to Donald Trump of all people. Yeah. I mean, just put aside all of his buffonishness, and no one should ever lose to a reality show clown, etc. But the fact that he was so horrible to women, and for him to beat the person who was gonna be the first female president, it had to be soul crushing. So my heart went out to her, and it still goes out to her. If they would just stop picking at the wounds, and I mean, because Bernie's still in the fight, and so they're still trying to hurt him, right? And they're still trying to make sure he doesn't win. And I don't know how much of that to ascribe to Hillary Clinton and how much to bitter staffers, right? But for today, I'm going to ascribe it to the staffers and not Hillary Clinton, because we don't have any information that she's directing it. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. So since she's not relevant in politics in that sense anymore, give her a break and leave her be, okay? And thank her for some of the good service she did, because her record was not just bad. We didn't like the corporate part of it. We didn't like the big donor. We didn't like the establishment part. But earlier in her career, she fought for women's rights in a wonderful way. Later in her career, she fought for women's rights in some ways that were controversial. She was a Secretary of State that was too hawkish for my taste, but also pushed for human rights in different occasions. So if this is in a sense the conclusion of Hillary Clinton's career, as she announces she will no longer run, then we thank her for her service.
Yeah, and on the eve of the election, I felt the same way, because we're progressives and we have empathy for people.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today for more